Hi, in this video we're going to be teaching you how to build this dresser, but a few reminders before we get started. Make sure to have a Phillips head screwdriver, a hammer, and optionally a flathead screwdriver. A second person can be helpful in putting this together, and just make sure all the pieces are facing the right way as you're assembling and you're going to do great. So with that in mind, let's get started.
Remember, in these tips we won't cover every step, so just make sure you also follow the instructions and do all the steps in between.
On steps 4, 5, and 7, we're going to be attaching all of the sliders to the pieces. So we have piece 2, piece 3, and then piece 10. And when you're putting these on, you want to be sure that you have pieces L1 and R1 on the right sides. So you want R1 to be going on piece 2, and L1 onto piece 3, and they will both go onto piece 10. You also want to make sure that you have these open-ended sides facing this notch on both pieces 2 and 3. And then on piece 10, you want to be sure that the wheel side is facing the painted edge of the piece and not the unfinished edge. And also you want to make sure that the L1 sliders are on the same side as the cam lock holes right here. So once you have all of those attached, you're good to move on to the next step. In steps 8 and 9, we'll be attaching pieces 2 and 3 to piece 12. And when you're putting these together, you just want to be sure that you have the side pieces on the correct side so that everything lines up. So you can go ahead and fit those into the holes. Once you're sure that everything lines up, you can go ahead and put the cam locks in. And we found that with cam locks, a Phillips head screwdriver will work just fine, but a flathead can be a little bit better. All right, and once you have all of those tightened, you're good to move on to the next step. In this tip, we're going to be going over drawer assembly. So that's going to be steps 15 through 18. And in this step, we have pieces 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to line up this back piece and the two side pieces. Make sure that the grooves line up and that you have this cam lock hole facing forward. So go ahead and line that up with the dowels. And then you can go ahead and put the screws into the sides. Great, once you have those attached, you can go ahead and slide piece 9 into the bottom. And you'll want to make sure to slide it in with the finished side facing up. And once you have that in, you can go ahead and put piece 5 on the front. And when you're putting this piece on, you want to make sure that you have the groove on the bottom and the handle side on the top so that it lines up with the rest of the piece. Great, once you have those attached, you can go ahead and put the cam locks in. Once you have those cam locks in, you're going to go ahead and flip the drawer over, and then we'll be attaching the sliders. When you put the sliders on, you just want to make sure that this overhang goes onto the bottom and that the wheel side is facing back. Just go ahead and slide that all the way up against the front of the drawer so that they're even, and we can put the screws in. All right, and once you have all 4 of those screws in, we can go ahead and put the wedges into the bottom. With the wedges, you just want to shove them in flat against the bottom. You just slide them under those front and back pieces, and it doesn't matter if they're perfectly symmetrical. This is just to hold the base plate in place. Once you have those wedges in, you can go ahead and put the screws in. All right, and once you have those all in, you have one completed drawer. You can go ahead and move on to doing all the others. We hope these tips were helpful for you in building your new dresser. For more guides, tips, and tricks, go to walkeredison.com.